work with this stamp set from Mama Elephant called Unicorns and Rainbows. I'm going to pair it with this Paper Smooches Rainbow die, as well as the Lawn Fawn Stitched Cloud Backdrop die. I'm going to take a piece of Stampin' Up's Pool Party cardstock and trim that down, and then I'm going to run it through my Big Shot with the Lawn Fawn Stitched Cloud Backdrop die. So here's what it looks like after I've run it through my Big Shot. I just love the detail on the clouds. Now what I want to do is take the Paper Smooches Rainbow die and kind of have that angled in the center of the card. So here you can see I'm kind of laying this out to show you how I want it, and I'm going to put some clouds at each end, and then I want a unicorn at the top and a sentiment down the bottom. So to make the rainbow, I'm going to take the die and these narrow strips of glittered cardstock that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to run them through my Big Shot. So after I've finished running it through my Big Shot, you can see I've got my rainbow, and I have a bunch of extra strips. I'm actually going to save these and try to use these on future cards so that they're not wasted. So now I'm going to take my rainbow and just kind of figure out where I want it on the card. And I want to take some of the cloud punches. They're Fiskars cloud punches, and I have 3 different sizes. And I'm going to punch out some clouds of white cardstock and then place them at the end of the rainbow. So once I've got those punched, I kind of play around a little bit with the placement just to see where I want them on the card. And I think I want to layer, one large one and the smaller one on one side. And then I'm going to put my unicorn, I'm going to use the one with the unicorn jumping, and I'm going to put that on top of the rainbow. And then I want to use that sentiment that says, "Sending you wishes for a rainbows and unicorns kind of day" at the bottom. So I'm going to use my Tonic stamp platform because I know I'm going to want to stamp this twice. I like to stamp lightly first and then do a second stamp. I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black. That works really well with Copic and Spectrum Noir markers. So I'm just going to ink up the stamp and stamp it a couple times. And I actually am going to stamp 2 copies of the unicorn. I always do that if I'm coloring because I'm not great at coloring and I like to have a backup. So I'm going to color the unicorn with a combination of Copic and Spectrum Noir markers and a gold metallic Jelly Roll pen. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom in and speed up the video a little bit as I color in the unicorn here. Now I'm just going to take my scissors and fussy cut the unicorn out. There are some tiny little areas that I'm pointing to here that I need to cut with a craft knife because they're just too tiny for my scissors. Now my cutting skills aren't the best either, so after I'm done cutting anything out, I like to take a Memento Tuxedo Black marker and just go around the edges and darken them. Then it doesn't really look like you've done a bad job, it just looks like ink on the edge. So now that that's done, again, I'm playing with placement here. That's where I want the unicorn to go. So I'm going to put my sentiment down in that corner. So the stamp that I'm using from the set says, "Sending you wishes for a rainbows and unicorns kind of day." And I want to place that in the corner, but I need something to stamp it on to stand out from the background. I'm going to take one of the label dies from this older Stampin' Up! Project Life Framelit set, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment onto white cardstock, and then I'm going to die cut that out. Now once I have that cut out, I do want to trim the edge so that it's flush with the card. Now I need to score my card base at 4 1/4, so it is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card. And I've trimmed the background just slightly so that there is a little white edge around it. And then I'm just going to assemble my card. For the large sections, I use my ATG gun, and I'm going to pop up the sentiment, the clouds, and the unicorn with some foam adhesive. So first I'm putting my sentiment on so that I can place everything else around it. So that's essentially the finished card, but I decided that I'd like to add some fake stitching with my marker around the clouds just to make them pop out a little more. So I'm going to go ahead and do that next. So now that that's finished, the card is complete. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you'd like a full list of supplies, they're on my blog. And if you haven't already subscribed, I'd love it if you'd hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much. Have a great day.